All right, so I am back from Bostwick's Antique Mall and Auction House, and I got some really cool online finds that we found from their online auctions and then their antique mall. I picked up a few other items as well. It's always nice to be able to go. As you saw from the last video, they have an assortment of things, and we got a lot of things from Bostwick's to fill this house with, including the Stickley chair that I am sitting on here, which is cherry and literally has the same kind of stain as this trestle table that we have here, which was not antique, but it was made in New York, not too far from here. So the first thing I have before me is this massive bird book. So I got 2 books for $40. And $40 is about as much as I would go for books, more or less, unless it's something that's really, really special. But look at how big this coffee table book is. And I looked online and you could get it from like Abe Books or Better World Books, and it carries quite a price tag. I mean, as you can see, because it's a lot of book, usually around somewhere between 79 and 80 bucks. So I got it for, obviously less than that. And really gorgeous illustrations and colors here for this book of birds. So I figured this would be an excellent coffee table book, probably on a table down in the speakeasy, which we're working on right now. So that one is massive. The other one I got is also very precious. Let me show you. This one is from the 1800s. And you probably can't see the title of this, but it says the Towanda Review Cookbook and the Home Guide, book by 500 ladies. And I think these guides were typically, maybe there was like a magazine that would go around locally, and I think what they did is they just actually combined all these different recipes and kind of home economics stuff from all of their magazines, and they compiled it into this little book. Let me see when this was done. I think it was in the 1800s. Let me see. Yeah, the Towanda Review, 1883. The Home Guide, or a book by 500 ladies embracing about 1,000 recipes and hints pertaining to cookery, the household, the sick room, the toilet, etc. And I started reading through this, and I think maybe a future episode will read through some of the recipes and maybe make some of the recipes together. They're not entirely like, I would say they're not terribly complex. Some of them are just for like beef stew or tomato paste, things like that. Custard pie, gelatin pudding, sweet potato pudding. But it would be nice to actually make some of these recipes. And I had to laugh because there is also, like I said, not just recipes, but I found some things in there about like the care of houseplants and whatnot. So this is super precious. I love collecting these books. I love collecting old recipe books because you could actually compare and contrast some of the recipes back in the day that maybe were being done by your great-grandparents. So I thought that was really lovely. And I'll show you what else I got. Now, these aren't that great, but I only got them for 10 bucks. And eventually I'm going to have to invest in a nice pair of binoculars. But my dad had brought us binoculars over that were like, he got them for like $1 at another auction. And they're terrible. You look through them and it seems as if you have like bad vision. Everything's like blurry. So we have to get rid of those. And I got these. They don't have that much of a powerful magnification. It's only 4 times. Generally you want something at least like 8 times, but they're at least clear. So I could take these. I think these are from the 1940s. They're called air guides, and they come with their case and the actual box. So, look, like it's in pretty decent condition. So I saw these online and you could get them for like 30, 40 bucks. So if somebody just wants to collect old field glasses, will probably binoculars, you'll probably be able to get your money back. Some of these are the cooler ones. Let me just show you this. I got this cutting board, nice stain right there from something that was a little bit too hot. Probably put like too hot of a pan on it. But I thought it was in decent condition. It has a little crack down the 3/4 of the way down. But very nice patina on this. They actually had a few of them there, and they were only like $9. So I picked this one up because you can never have too many cutting boards, especially if you want to serve things on it. I usually like to use the cutting boards to like have charcuterie or like cheese and fruits and things of that nature. So it was very nice and a really nice manageable size. Something else that I picked up kind of was like a bird week, because I picked up the bird binoculars, I picked up the bird book, and then I picked up this quilt. And I like quilts. I mean, my mom actually makes beautiful quilts. I actually just inherited my great-grandmother's quilt that my mom made for my great-grandmother. But when my great-grandmother passed, she wanted to give the quilt back to me. And it's, kind of this nice purple lilac color with like all different types of old fabric. So it's just like an assortment of different fabric. But it's a very, very beautiful quilt, like one of those pinwheels kind of shapes. I guess pinwheel would probably be the right way of describing it. I've always appreciated really good craftsmanship in quilts. I got another quilt at Bostwick's at some other time that I got for like $10 or $12. This one was $12.50, and I probably should have saw the dimensions because this is actually quite a small quilt, so it looks like maybe for kind of a baby. But then I realized, well, that's fine if it's not too small, but it would be a good lap quilt, like even for here, or if Kia and Dalal come back, they could actually have this like quilt if they're swaddle the baby in the quilt. So I just thought it was really beautiful because it had these, it was a nice symmetric design, but it also had these beautiful birdhouses on it. So I thought that was quite charming. And the other quilt that I picked up at Bostwick's was right around the same color, these kinds of soft blues and greens. So I have to wash this because I don't know where it's been. So that's one of the things that I'm actually going to take up and wash. And then this is quite nice. As I had mentioned, I love to collect copper and brass items, and you could often find sometimes you can find reproductions and then they look like the old things, but this one is a genuinely old one, and this is a hand-hammered copper ladle. It's quite a small one, so but very beautiful, and I think would match any of the ladles and the brassware or the copperware that we have here in the Meadow House. So really nice find. This is another one that I got for the Meadow House. And really beautiful, I think, studio pottery. I mean, it says somebody's name on the bottom. Brad Zurich or something like that on the bottom. So oftentimes you'll find like one-of-a-kind studio pottery. I liked how they had the horizontal lines on here and the raw clay and then the glazed green clay, and I was like, wow, man, that's gonna look great in the Meadow House. And it's always nice to have a bowl with a top on it, because if you make like steamed rice or steamed beans or something, you want to be able to, sometimes I'm just putting like an extra dish on top of it just to make kind of this makeshift top. But the fact that this one has a top already is really lovely. So I think, or somebody is in the shower still and the food is ready, you could always put it in the bowl and then it keeps the heat. So beautiful piece of studio pottery. Again, those things are like one of a kind. You usually don't see a full set, but that's okay because I have an eclectic mix of bowls here at the Meadow House, so it kind of works. All right, second to the last item that I'm going to show you. I think, yeah, second to the last item. Actually, no, I have one more item after that. So this is third to the last item I'll show you, because the other one is actually in the barn and I'll have to show you that one. I'll have to walk out there. This one I saw at Bostwick's and I was like, oh my gosh, look at that inlay. Look at that detail of the inlay on this chessboard. I thought it was so exquisite. And when I saw this is how it was basically displayed. This is the photo that I got of it. It's a little dusty, sorry about that. I saw it, and I already have a really pretty chessboard. And I realized, like, the game room will probably go down into the common house and the speakeasy. You'll just have more space down there. It'll be a fun, like, kind of game, apothecary, like, library type setting down there. I think that sounds really calm, cool, and collected. And then I saw this, I was like, this would be awesome to make a little end table out of, so that you could actually carry the table over and play a chess game. Now, I don't know how to play chess. I never learned how to play chess, but my brother is a chess master. So he, anybody who wants to come and challenge him, I'm sure he would really love to do that. My dad and my brother also they like to play games together, especially Scrabble. So I made sure I got a really good Scrabble board and things of that nature, because they'll play Scrabble for like 4 or 5 hours straight. I played Scrabble with them. I mean, I love word games and everything, but Scrabble is so much more beyond like knowing words. It's strategizing, and they put like the shortest words on the Scrabble thing, which annoys me. But that's how you play. That's how you become a really good Scrabble player. Anyway, so this was something that I said, oh wow, this would be a great end table. And then I picked it up and I realized that it had been a table. So look at the bottom of that. It looks like it was suntanned down there, but they had told me that it came with a marble pedestal, which is really weird because I think marble on this would not look right. So when I picked this up, I told Sandra, I said we should probably get like a proper bottom or make a proper bottom for this. But the inlay of this is absolutely exquisite. So it was one of those things where I was like, I just have to pick it up because the workmanship and the quality of that is just absolutely lovely. Now, the second to last thing, the penultimate thing that I got, oh, it's so heavy. You'd be surprised how heavy this is. It's gotta be like somewhere between 10 and 15 pounds. This is like pure iron. This is a loon maybe, or a duck. Here, let me try to get this close. I have to like lift with my legs and not with my back. Look at how cute that is. So this is a very solid 19th century cast iron loon or duck, like boot cleaner essentially. And look, it's all rusty. I got my hands all rusty. And I saw this and I was like, that's cool, because we kind of have this like bird duck theme kind of going for a flock, especially in the common house. So I thought this would be a really good boot wipe for down before you enter into the speakeasy. And it's super heavy duty. And I went to see it online. So oftentimes when I'm like bidding for something on an online auction, I'll go elsewhere to see how much it's being sold for. Now, just because it's being sold for a certain amount of money, it doesn't mean that it's going to sell for that. But these are being sold for anywhere from the mid hundreds, so like $400, $500, all the way up to over $1,000. So I ended up paying about $100 for this. It's a little bit more than I would typically buy. There were a couple people bidding on it against me, but I eventually got it. So this is probably one of the things that I paid the most for. But it's a phenomenal piece. And I guess those cast iron duck boot cleaners are relatively rare to come by. And the fact that it was probably done in the 1800s, I thought that was really cool, because I got a boot cleaner and it's like really like flimsy, the kind of things that people make today. You can't get something that solid. I mean, I could literally do bicep curls with that. So I'm going to take you out into the barn and I'll show you the last item that we got from Bostwick's, but this is kind of like the bulk of the products that we got, which I'm pretty happy about. I have to be careful because I don't want to be collecting too much junk and then you have just a bunch of stuff. But the other thing too that we could always do is if we want to like open up a little storefront, whether it's online or here, and then anything that we don't need, we could just offload it again. And like I said, a lot of these things will maintain their price. So that's always good, because well-made products usually maintain their value over time. Anyway, let's go out to the barn. Okay, so this is our other find, and this is a beautiful park bench. Actually, I think it's from a UK brand that's actually quite prominent. It starts with a G. I can't think of it, but it went for a pretty penny. The last one I got was like $45. And what we do is we actually sand them and then we finished them in a nice stain. So I think that the other one is in the upper barn, so I can't show you the stain that we do, but it's a really nice brown stain that matches the common house. But this one was quite a large one. And yeah, we keep our furniture in from the winter so that it just prolongs the life of them. You'll see that I have some of these antique furnitures, and then this is the bucket bench that Sonder delivered on with a beautiful finish. You can see that we had a plant pot there, though it already left a stain. So we might refinish the top of it. And then this is, of course, our nice rocker. And that item over there, that little table, the oak table with the white on the bottom, that's something that we got at Bostwick's and refinished it. And this is another really beautiful find that I got at a Bostwick's auction. It's like this woven, nice cherry style rocker chair as well. So got a lot of things, but I was really happy about this bench. It's just a very simple style, about 60 inches long maybe. So it could fit quite a few butts on that bench. And here's a closer look at the rocker as well. So quite a lot of things that we started to acquire over the time, but you can never have enough seats around the land. So that was one that I'm always on the lookout for, is really good park benches and outdoor benches. All right. You can see I have a stash here. I totally forgot that I had a few other items. Yeah, you can see some really beautiful baskets. I got those at Bostwick's at some point as well. But most recently, I got this egg basket. And I've been collecting these since I saw them. Let me show you if I could find the insignia on here. If you could read that, that says the Oaks Manufacturing Company, OAKES, made by the Oaks Manufacturing Company. And that's my last name, OAKES. And so I have been collecting a number of items for the chicken coop that have that last name on it. I was just reminded that this is one of the things that I actually picked up recently. And you can see that I have some other items over here that also have that insignia. So that's something that I got on eBay. It's really hard to see, but that's the OAKES. And so I first learned about that and I was like, wow, and what do you know? It's like for chickens. There's also one here. This is actually a little bit easier to see. And this is like kind of like brand new. I guess this one was found in an old hardware shop, like in the basement, never sold, still had the stickers on it for how much it was. Can't remember how much it was, but it was like very cheap. Anyway, this chicken coop is not, it currently has all my kind of vintage finds and things that are gonna go in different parts of the houses. Although my mom brought like my dolls here and things like that. I don't know what to do with those. You know, you can see I have a bunch of nice chair finds and things of that nature. So yeah, we have to go through this, but that is one of the items that I have gotten. I also got this thing right under here. You can see it's kind of that ochreous color. It could have had, you know, some type of alcohol in it or molasses or something of that nature. And I'm collecting some of these because I think that's gonna be looking nice down in the speakeasy. So lots of little collections that we've picked up along the way.
That's some of the eclectic finds that we brought back to make these house renovations feel more like a home. We've also been getting requests about the layout, colors, design, and specific items of the Meadow House. So we put together a fairly comprehensive 50-plus page downloadable guide for sale under our Learn tab on our website at flockfingerlakes.com if that interests you. Stay tuned here because we'll have more of our renovations, adventures, and ruminations in future videos here on Flock.